think we're going live. You wanna start it?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Is the link sent out and stuff?
yep. Go ahead.
All right. Awesome. Well, we are live. The voice you might have just heard is Matt Palladio.
Yeah, I'm.
He's going to be the co-host for this week.
Up.
Um,
I'm glad to be here.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt, for setting this up and being the brains behind the operation because I couldn't figure it out. Um, what I'm going to try to do for the future and going forward um, will be to have a bunch of you guys on that have contributed to the show in the past and have listened and watched and have given yourselves time, given us your time, myself and Nick. No, we just want to reward you guys for doing that. So
Hmm.
Patrick, Chris, uh, John Lopez, Matt, yourself, um, Warhood, Jack. Uh, a lot of people I'm also forgetting. You guys are now going to be helping, and we're going to turn this into whatever there is now. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to get that off, and I think for time purposes, we'll go to like 8:15. Um, so we'll kind of watch along with you guys for the first segment of SmackDown. What we should expect from that. Matt, how do you like the? How are you liking the Performance Center shows as a whole?
Um, it's weird. I mean, wrestling in front of nobody is just it's hard to do because you need people to play off of. You need the audience to play off of,
Right.
and that's pretty much what a wrestling match is. It's a big dance between everybody in the ring and the audience, and when you take all those people away, it's very weird.
Mhm.
So there, I mean, this whole situation is just weird. We've never seen it before. WWE and AEW have obviously never been in this situation. So it's hard to criticize, I think, every show
Right.
as we normally would. But some parts are good. I like the promos on both shows are I think very interesting because the people the superstars or wrestlers whatever
Yeah.
get to talk to the camera and just talk to us one on one, if you will, and it really it's a good chance to show them or show us how good they actually are in the promo. Because I think some of these it just feels like seem less scripted than usual, but that's probably not true. But um, I don't know. But the promos are okay. The matches, there's some good ones. The one that comes to mind is from I think last week, Daniel Bryan and Cesaro.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's just weird. It's just a weird time to to
Yeah.
to watch a wrestling program.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the one point that you touched on was that you're seeing some better promos, and you're also seeing worse promos. Whenever there's no crowd, you're kind of out there on an island, and I think the cool way for us, the audience, to kind of perceive it is that this is how everybody trained. Um, and Matt, you've this isn't your first web show,
No.
and I'm speaking from my experience as well. That whenever you first get in front of a camera and there's nobody or a handful of people, it's actually like more intimidating and more stressful than if you're in a room full of crowded people. Just a weird sort of
I,
uh, anomaly that happens, I think.
yeah, unless you're in a crowd of people and you do something and you get no reaction. I have been there.
Yeah.
Through I've I have just a story. I have because I work in a high school, and we do this every year. This like competition, this contest called Mr. Ambridge, from where I work at high school. It's almost like Miss America, but for guys,
Hmm.
students. And one year I hosted, and we had to buy time for between acts. And I had a co-host who, which a student at the time, and he went on this. He started something, and I was like, "Oh, I know this is going to go nowhere quick." I was like, "I got to play into it," and just no reaction from the crowd. It was just, that's the worst
Right.
feeling. But like online, like us right now, I know there's people watching, or more than whatever is gonna more people are gonna watch or watching right now. It's just you don't want to look stupid,
Yeah.
which I'm probably am. So I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. I hope we're not.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, the think that they made the right call by canceling. And this a lot of this is out of Vince's hands anyway, but to make it to WWE because they're the ones most affected. Even though AEW yesterday was their blood and guts pay per view sort of house show deal,
Yeah.
right? That was their yeah. So which we got a little bit gypped out of with that because that was going to be
Yeah.
nice. But
I'm gonna.
doing it in the performance center and
You
the
could. I'm
fact
gonna
that
turn
they
on the TV for SmackDown real quick. Hang on.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
You get to
So
watch. You get to watch an empty screen.
yeah, I have SmackDown coming on right now. But yeah, Vince made the right move by going into the Performance Center. Uh, Taping for WrestleMania is finished. So and we haven't heard a lot of anything other than Roman Reigns isn't will not be performing. So I want you guys to let me know what you're thinking about WrestleMania, um, and what you want to see out of it. I think that's a good place to start. What do you want to see in a couple of Sundays from now? Um,
Oops, I'm sorry.
Matt, you're back. What do you? I was just sort of going on and saying how Vince made the right decision, to have it in the performance center.
Right.
Don't get involved with the law this time. And the taping for WrestleMania is actually finished already from some of the reports. We they and you got to be careful too that a lot of, especially because of the coronavirus and limited capacity, a lot of what leaks out what is predetermined, and that's what WWE wants to happen. So it's not a surprise that Roman Reigns that it was leaked that he will not be there. Um, so what do you expect from WrestleMania? What do you want to get out of it? Like, do you think it's going to be something that has replay value? Uh,
Um,
or will have replay value for a different reason.
it could. I mean, the weird thing here for WrestleMania, is that a lot of people or wrestlers are either quarantine or not going to do it. So I there's reports that Vince is the only one that wanted this to continue on time as scheduled, which I don't know. Maybe they should have pushed back. I I'm leaning towards yes, um, because I don't know. I just like WrestleMania with people, and
Right.
just for everybody who's wrestling there to get their moment, and like Drew McIntyre to get his moment,
Yeah.
um, and what have you. What else? And even like Edge and Randy Orton to have that crowd to play
Yeah.
off of. Um, but I'm looking forward to this 2 days in a just a unique way. Just I want to see how it comes off. Um, I'm sure there's going to be good matches. Uh, I mean, it's just weird. It's going to be hard to really have a quote unquote great match. We said this before without anybody there.
Right.
It's like almost watching paint dry, but
Right.
not that extreme. So I don't know. Like they tape stuff. I know Undertaker and AJ are taping their Boneyard match at
Undertaker.
at at a different location in a cemetery. So
Hmm.
they're trying to not have everybody at one location, which is smart.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, should they have just postponed it to a later day? Um,
Right.
if this was like a regular pay per view, let's whatever, what have you.
Yeah.
It,
Could have just watched it away.
it just yeah. But the big thing here with this show is that you've built all these feuds up, right? And then you would have to extend them a couple months because I don't know how you do that. Do you just have those payoffs on a regular show?
Well, that's a good question. What I think has the possibility of setting up is SummerSlam. I think SummerSlam could be the real winner out of this. Um, it, you know, if we're being completely honest, the product hasn't been good recently, and by recently I'm talking about years. And SummerSlam, SummerSlam has lost a lot of its luster. Um, that's going back to you can maybe say the last time SummerSlam had a draw was when uh, Daniel Bryan got screwed over. Um,
Yeah,
I know that was SummerSlam. He got screwed over by Triple H. I think that's when Triple H was the referee and he
yeah.
pedigreed him.
That was the start of everything.
Yeah,
Authority.
you could say right. That's the last time that.
Didn't we have Taker, Lesnar, or somebody at SummerSlam a couple years
Yeah, I
back?
think you're right. There might have been something else
I
that
mean,
on paper sounded good, but you knew it was just going to be a.
I and I'm terrible remembering pay per views and stuff, but I think recently there's been a couple like good matches in the show on the shows, and maybe some shows might have been okay, but it is
Right.
I don't know what really is lost is luster, and SummerSlam is okay. Is like, and this could be another topic for another day. Is like Survivor Series, because back in the day, you had those elimination matches that everybody looked forward to, and maybe until
Right.
maybe a little bit recently, since State Survivor Series, they do Raw versus SmackDown and all that, and you kind of get some good matches. And like this year with NXT, so you got some intrigue on that, which I thought was a good idea, because everybody likes NXT. But like there was that run there a couple years ago with Survivor Series was just it. Bleh, it wasn't Survivor Series of old. And maybe the elimination matches is lost or luster. I don't know. But I know I like what they're doing with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Taken into a stadium, it has that big fill, just like this year with Drew McIntyre winning, eliminating Lesnar. That pop you saw, like
Yeah.
that's special. And it'd be nice to do if they did that same stadium show in ballparks with like SummerSlam in the summer.
Mhm.
Because you can draw 30,000 people, 40,000 people for a SummerSlam. Because I
Well, you
just
have to be careful with that too. You
yeah
have to, because Royal Rumble sells itself. A lot of people, um, myself included, I'm not, the big fan that I was, but a Royal Rumble match always kind of brings in the crowd that's just kind of lingering, especially with the cost of the network being so cheap and being able to share
right.
accounts. Brought up Drew McIntyre a couple of times. I wanted to kind of, and I first wanted to touch on the tweets. I was asking people, do you on the NB show at the NB show, would you want to rewatch WrestleMania? Um, does it WrestleMania have replay value? And we're getting some people are saying yes, and other people are saying they're not going to watch it
What
the first time. So
was it?
that,
Yeah, was it this year's WrestleMania or WrestleMania? You talk about this year's?
yeah, I'm talking about this one that is going to happen.
I
Um,
mean, some it's hard to tell. It's hard to say before it happens,
right.
because I think with a Mania or pay per view, more just have wrestling matches and not every other stuff that goes along with it. Mostly, even though all that wrestling can take hours, it's there could be some matches that are just not good or whatever, what have you. But some like I would just like Edge and Randy Orton can be good.
You're right.
Undertaker and AJ, if done right with everything, can be entertaining to watch. Lesnar and Drew. I mean, everybody craps on Lesnar now, but like, you watch how many matches I'll be watching with friends, and it could be like a 10-minute match, but it's just that hard hitting and looks so good.
Hmm.
And with those two, I have no doubt that's possible. So there's a couple matches like on paper when I look at it, because I'm like ever optimist here when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, like on paper, some of these matches you just look should be good. Well, some of them may not have any build, but they can surprise, and at least be entertaining enough to like for a fill in between the bigger matches.
Right.
And them having them split the show up in 2 days, I think it's a good thing, because I think it's easier to watch 2 3 hour shows than one 6 hour show, and
Yeah.
just for what have you, like when you binge watch, um, ex- you can watch 3 hours, what have you, and
Right.
finish, and then the next day continue and finish the rest instead of sitting
Right.
there for 6 hours like a zombie. But I can't say much because I spent 5 hours watching the Tiger King.
I still have not seen that.
That is a
Um,
ride and a half. That is a
yeah.
cluster. It's I went in not knowing what it was about per se. How I thought it was just following this guy with tigers. No, it's like a documentary about this whole thing. Oh my god, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
It
just
sounds
messed up.
crazy.
What?
What we will finish up on, and guys, we'll go till about 8:20, 8:25, 8:30. We'll see how long this topic lasts. But you brought up Drew McIntyre's name, and I think see, I was trying to figure out the best way to word this, just because this is a situation that that is serious and that has affected a lot of people around the world, and some people might even know people that have been affected by the coronavirus. But as far as keeping it in the world of wrestling, um, what performer, what superstar in WWE do you think it has been affected most by missing their WrestleMania opportunity? Or for us, the fans, me personally, I'm probably most upset that Edge and Randy Orton never got their
Yeah.
full run. I think that was a lock to steal the show.
I
And then I feel bad for Drew
yeah
McIntyre for sure.
yeah.
So what do you
I'm
think?
I think it's number one. It's Drew for me because obviously the beat Brock Lesnar is a big deal in this company most of the time. But he has that moment. He really organically got over. Being that in the heel faction with Shane, and just over time, everybody just got to like him, and they made that switch, and more of his personalities come out. And like I mentioned before, that pop at the Rumble was
Yeah,
huge, and just the crowd is behind him each week in every city, and to get that pop, that 70,000 people pop, and Tampa Bay when you beat Brock Lesnar would be great. And now you don't have it. You just have 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. I'm the champion. Whoop de doo. It's like I don't know. It's a hard. It's a terrible place to be in. But I I, I mean he would always have that. He beat Brock Lesnar, but in front of nobody. And
yeah,
real
yeah.
quick, I want to shout
Go ahead.
out Chris at CT485, the Montez Ford with the red Solo Cup plug. Exactly. I want the smoke.
Yeah, yeah. We
Um,
will. We'll see if we'll be lucky enough to be graced by Chris's presence. He is up there with Cheryl,
yeah,
and 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 then John Lopez and Patrick and Warhood are all kind of and Captain Jack. They're all kind of right there. Matt, you came on a little bit later, but you
I
came on strong because
I came on during the new iteration. I think you and Nick already like left per se,
yeah,
and it was me, Warhood, um, Andrew.
man,
Yeah, and I was kind of just a social media guy. I would just
yeah,
pop in and be like, "We got
you were like a
these."
security guard. You were like
I just read
you were the
tweets.
security guard
I
breaking
never,
up the fights.
yeah, I just no, I just
Yeah,
sat back and listened and laughed. I never got to talk about wrestling. I was just like
yeah,
that, but I appreciate uh, you guys letting me do this and work and getting to know you guys. Um, and seeing you guys pretty much every WrestleMania time I get there, just run into you guys.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's pretty crazy. We'll tell that story that just out of the blue, myself, Nick, and now his wife April, we were at Raw,
it
which was in
was
Brooklyn.
no, I thought it was SmackDown, or was it SmackDown or was it Raw? No, it was Raw.
No, it was Raw.
Okay, yeah, because I went to SmackDown. Okay,
Oh, we're good.
okay,
Um,
yeah, it was
yeah,
Raw. I think.
by some miracle,
Yeah,
you and your friend John were sitting in front of us.
yeah, we're sitting there waiting for the show, and I look up and I see you guys walking up. I went, son of a, how, like literally a row behind us or so,
Yeah,
and that
completely different state.
and a complete. Well, yeah, and I ran into you guys. I think we ran into you at Mania outside. I
Yeah, I
think,
think
yeah,
so.
yeah. You guys were in. I think Nick. I think you guys were in line for the like Porta Johns or something. I don't know. I don't know. So it was that, and then saw you guys the next night. And I
Yeah,
don't. Were you? I don't think I saw you guys in Dallas.
I don't think so either.
No. Yeah, because the Dallas one and the last year's was only two I've been to, and
Yeah,
that was. I'm glad I didn't want to go this year.
right.
Good money reasons and whatnot, and I there was a wedding I'm in and saving money for that and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun. Mania weekend, especially last year, was just a blast.
nice.
Just seeing all, just being in New York for the first time and just going to all these wrestling shows and independent shows. It's always fun.
That's awesome. I didn't know that was your first time in New York. Yeah, that
Oh
could be.
yeah, it was.
Well, wow. Yeah, so that about will wrap up today's show. Next week we will be back, um, and I will. Yeah, so we're gonna we'll be back next week on either Thursday, April 2nd, or Friday, April 3rd. Um, and Patrick, I know that you have been looking to come on.
Yep.
And Patrick, I'm personally inviting you to be on here, and then we'll go from there. Matt, it was pleasure and honor having you, and for bringing
That
this
was
up. Let me
it
make
was
that clear. You saved the
it's,
show.
oh
Uh,
yeah, I try, but it was my honor. Um,
and
I, I want to throw in a shameless plug here. The channel we're streaming on is what it's called. Matt and John Make a Podcast. It's a podcast me and you said my friend John. We do. We have every Saturday at 3, and we're going to actually record this week's episode right after this. By the way,
nice.
and then we it's on this channel again. It's every Saturday at 3. Either since we're social distancing, it's going to be like this Google Hangouts thing. So it's going to
Hmm.
be video, but usually it's an audio podcast to listen to. And then every Wednesday we try to do after AEW NXT, we do a reaction show, a live stream on here. So you could check that out. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Um,
Yeah.
Sorry for the shameless plug.
Oh, I don't care.
Uh,
Yeah, that's
but thanks. I appreciate, I mean, I guess on behalf of Brian, everybody who follows on in the NB Show Twitter account, um, it's fun when I used to like live tweet every show, and I kind of got off of that because I don't know. It I don't know. It's easier to just watch it and just look at what everybody
yeah,
else is saying instead of tweeting.
right.
Just it's hard to
No, it is.
try to come up with something smart to say. I don't know, but it's
Yeah,
been
it's hard to
fun.
critique it. It's hard. Well, no, it's not. It's not that it's hard to critique. It's hard to view at it in that lens every single
Yeah,
time
and
instead of
it's hard to like watch and then tweet and talk to people and
yeah,
they're like it's and I like to just sit back. It's nice to sit back and watch and actually know
right.
what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And this won't be the last time you'll see Matt. We're gonna definitely have him back on. Um, yeah. So Patrick, this is my open invitation for you to come on next week, and then anyone after Patrick. Um, I'm sure there's a few out there. We will get you squared away, get you set up, and we'll talk some wrestling. And who knows? We'll see where this goes. I've my personal goal. I've always wanted to do a like a podcast or something like that, and wrestling for whatever reason is just the easiest for me to talk about. Even though I would say hockey's my passion, but
Yeah. Well,
wrestling makes it easy. But
not much
yeah,
hockey to talk
I
about
plan to
now.
continue this. Yeah, no, there's definitely not.
Or anything
Yeah, I
to talk
plan to
about.
continue this. But right, um, looks like Shinsuke just
I
just lost.
yes, the Drew Gulak. So it's Sammy and Daniel Bryan at Mania for the IC Championship, I believe.
Okay,
Which
there we go.
I'm down for that match. Give
Yeah,
him time. That's going to be a maybe still the show. I don't know because Cesaro's not going to be there apparently because I don't know. I don't think he's on the cards. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
right.
That's next week.
Yeah,
Holy crap!
that's the perfect way to end this, Matt. Is to talk about we're talking about wrestling, and if you could just put one thing in a quote, I don't know what's going to happen. That's
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
much
much.
what it's going to be.
I don't want to see any spoilers. That's not fun. I want to go in
Yeah,
not
really.
knowing a damn thing.
Yeah, it's not a cool move. You're that guy if you're gonna spoil WrestleMania. I mean, now I know what it feels like to be across the pond here.
You know.
where you got to be careful on, finding spoilers and things like that. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out, literally on Google Hangouts.
Yep.
And
Which Google destroyed, by the way, but that's neither.
yeah, yes, they did. Again, make sure, Matt, you let them know where to find you and everything.
You
And you
can, yeah.
send it out.
Obviously, I put the plug in for the channel we're streaming on now. Me and my friends' podcast we do every week. But on Twitter, it's at mhladio92. That's MHLALADIO 92. I I'm there tweeting some stuff every so often. But yeah, you can follow me there.
All right. Cool. All right. Thanks, Matt. And thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
all checking out and hanging out with us on a quarantine Friday.
Have a good one.
You guys too.